Well, hello. Back again. Welcome, everybody. Dropping in for another night. Dropping in to do some Braze. If you've come along tonight, it's we're all about the Braze here. We're all about the marketing chat. We're all about anything to do in that vein, the Martech, the whatever. Just come and hang, come and chat, learn a bit of code. Well, a little bit of liquid, I should say, inside Braze. And tonight we've got some cool stuff coming up because what we're actually going to be doing is learning how to make a streak bar inside Braze, and the easiest way possible. So this is for people, you may not have much knowledge of liquid or building streak bars or designing things, or we're going to go from scratch. We're going to get it done really quickly, but we're going to try and do it the simplest way we possibly can. Let my picture's on a slant there. There we go. And you think about it, your streak bars are everywhere. So we'll talk about a bit more about that in a minute. Yeah, I hope you guys are all having a good day. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. So we do this every Wednesday, 8:30 or 9:30. It varies AEST time, but you know, you can catch us anywhere. You can catch me on LinkedIn, you can catch me on YouTube channel. We're over on Twitch tonight as well. Say hello in the chat if you're here. Let me know that you're here. And if you do have Twitch, go and check that out and give that a follow as well. We're trying to get the numbers up on Twitch as well. So just drinking out of my Hackathon Executive Challenge winner mug tonight, 2024. I know, yeah. I mean, arguably you could probably get that printed on a mug yourself, but the fact that I actually won this with a great team of people at Microsoft, this is last year. So Executive Challenge looking at accessibility. Great little piece of hardware we're working on using some AI. So very cool. Mind you, I didn't just get that. I also got this this standard badge. So it's not just the mug that I've got, but I do love the mug because I do love a bit of outdoors, and I do love having my outdoorsy mug with that written on it. Yeah. So tonight, probably the big thing we're going to be pushing through tonight is to show you guys the quickest way possible, or the simplest way possible to build a streak bar. Now, what's really cool about building streak bars is streak bars are like everywhere. So when I talk about streak bar, it might be like something simple, like someone is on a streak, say in a fitness app. So the bar goes up every time they do a workout, the bar goes up, and maybe at the end of the bar, they get some sort of reward. But either way, humans in general, all of us, we just love seeing the bar go up. It's pretty exciting. So it's a real motivator for people to keep going, to like hit that goal. Another example is sometimes a bar going down. So maybe like in a computer game, you might not think of it as a streak bar, but something like a health bar is actually essentially a streak bar going in reverse. You're motivated to not let it go down. It goes the other way. And maybe you've got cases inside your apps where you want to motivate people not to let things get to zero. So therefore they try and keep that bar up. So in those cases, maybe it's a bar that even goes up and down, depending on what they're doing over time. Yeah, because it might start going down and then they have to do something to keep it back up again. Maybe that's a cool little motivator. I'd never thought of that. Like, instead of it just having going one way, you could have it moving depending on their progress. A really common example is something like loyalty, where like you have a bar that slowly goes up. Once they hit the end, then they get themselves a coupon, for example. Or so we'll probably do something like that tonight, where we're just building a sort of simple loyalty bar that might go up in 20, 40, 60, 80%. But I'm also going to show you a really quick way to build one of them inside Figma. Now, if you guys don't use Figma, you can get a free account. It's figma.com, F-I-G-M-A. It's a great design tool, and it takes just a little bit of learning, but there's heaps of tutorials. But what's great about Figma, if you're not using it already, is Figma is rife across the tech space for lots of reasons, because you can even like draw things in there and then look down the side and it'll put that as CSS, like the code that developers need to draw things up. So it's just a super good tool for designing in generally. We're drinking the orange and cinnamon tea tonight. So if anybody wants to know what's in the cup tonight, orange and cinnamon, it's quite often in my cup because it's delicious. Yeah, and so other things happening today. Actually, here's an insight into my handwriting. It's terrible, to say the least. But I had a bit of brainwave today. I've had a bit of a creative block lately, and I wanted to get some video ideas. And I tend to do video ideas not by what I think the algorithm will necessarily think is the greatest, but what I think is actually fun to create, which I think for you guys is even a great way to do things. Because something I always talk about is play. Like, there's just not enough play happening generally. I think people should be allowed to play and have fun in what they're doing. Speaking of which, there's a website on the way that I'm building around that. I'm building because I do a front-end development course, so I thought I'd build my own website with React, because I wanted to learn React better, and so I figured the best way to do that was to build a website. Actually, I might show you a clip of that in a sec. So I was scribbling down ideas today in my terrible handwriting, which is good because then no one can steal my ideas. Even when I wave it around, you still probably won't know what's on there. But I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know in the chat and, you know, over on Twitch or YouTube, wherever you are. Even so I know the chat's working, actually, would be really helpful. I wrote down run to send email. What is run to send email? See, I was out running today, right? I was out going for a run and I was like, okay, cool. You run, you've got your fitness apps. I'm thinking about streak bars. I'm in my fitness app. I like to see the numbers go up. I do a thing called the Conqueror app, where like it shows you a path through a country, and as you run, like it shows you where you are on the map in that country. So I'm currently running to the middle of Japan on like this 500k trail. Sounds like I'm some sort of super athlete, but it's going to take me a long time to do that. But I see it in Street View. Anyway, so every time I run, it takes the distance off my watch and it puts it into the app and works out where I am. And I was like, I wonder if I could like set up some sort of email sending inside Braze with an API where it won't send an email or the number of emails it sends is dependent on how much running I'm doing. So it might pull that same data off like my Garmin. Might go, you ran 6Ks today. If you run 6Ks, I'll let you send 6 emails. So for every K, I can send an email. So therefore, I guess it's like a streak bar in some regards. I'm motivated to run. Otherwise, I can't send email. Like, how motivating would that be if you had like a deadline where you had to send an email to like, I don't know, 100,000 people? Wait, no one's going to do that, are they? Like, let's say you have to send an email to 1,000 people and you're like, man, my deadline's like 2 weeks from now. I have to run 1,000 kilometers within the next 2 weeks or all these emails won't get sent by the deadline. I mean, that's pretty motivating. Like, I mean, losing your job is a pretty strong motivator. I mean, so I've heard. All right, so excuse me. Say hello to everyone over on YouTube tonight. Just say a big shout out to everyone over on Twitch as well. I can see there's a few people floating around over there, which is nice. So maybe what we'll do is we'll get into the main event for this evening. Assume I got a call. Might get in the main event for this evening where we're actually going to build a Braze streak bar. Take two, because I tried to do this last week. It fell apart. I had a brain fade about how to write liquid. Like I had a proper brain fade. You can actually go back and watch last week's live. Just skim through it if you want, because you can watch it on YouTube. That's over at my Minimum Buy a Pizza channel on YouTube. And you'll see I just had a complete brain fade. I couldn't get it to work. It was like really, it's something that should be quite straightforward for me. Couldn't get it to work. So during the week, I've worked out what I was doing wrong, which was pretty basic. And we're going to try this take two, but that's good. For anyone tuning in tonight, you'll get take two of why we're building a streak bar quickest way possible. All right, so I'll just flick over to presenting. So, maybe I can put it about here so you guys can see the whole screen, because you'll need to be able to see this sidebar and in here. So what we're going to do, I'm doing this in Figma because you'll see in a minute, what's really cool is you can do what's called a gradient. And by drawing a gradient, you can draw the line in the streak bar really quickly and easily here. But honestly, what I'm about to show you, you can do this in Paint, you can do this in any other tool, however you want, because essentially we just want 6 images of the same thing that we're going to put together. Actually, I should just explain that really briefly. What's going to happen is we're going to have, maybe we can come in here again. Let's go to there. What's going to happen, right, is we're going to draw, so here's a rectangle. We're going to draw multiple versions of this rectangle. Oh, I think I've drawn too many there. We're going to draw multiple versions of this rectangle here. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to, start that again. We're going to draw multiple versions of this rectangle. And we're going to upload each of these. They're going to have like a different percentage color in there. And we're going to upload these into Braze. And what's going to happen is when we are doing the streak bar, instead of like this bar going up, which would require often custom code to have the bar like physically moving back and forth and doing all sorts of things, we're just going to put some liquid in. So it goes, if they're at 20%, show this bar. If they're at 40%, show this bar. So it's actually an image. If they're at 60%, show this bar, 80%, 100%. So when they log in, it looks like the bar's gone up, but all it's doing is replacing the image that's there with a different image. And that's what makes this so beautiful. And what's cool about this is once you understand how to do this for a streak bar, you'll come up with all these cool ideas about how you might be able to do this with lots of different things. All right, so I'm in Figma. I have it in dark mode, so yours might look white, so if that's the case. So basically we're going to push R, and R is for rectangle, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to make my bar about 600 wide, you know, sort of the average message size. You can drag it out and you can see here the numbers here. But if you can't be bothered dragging it out, get it right. Over here is the width. You can literally go in here and type in 600. Beautiful. And maybe I want it to be, I don't know, let's say we want it to be 75 high. There we go. Got ourselves a streak bar. Well, we've got the beginnings of a streak bar. Now, what we want a border on that because we kind of want the middle to be a different color. So we come down here to stroke. And we'll drop that down, and I'm just going to move that down a little bit so you can see that. So stroke, and we can come in here. Stroke is essentially the outline. We're going to draw an outline. So we might pick like a, you know, weird orangey brown color. Why not? Let's go with that. So I picked this color. You can make this any color you want with hex codes as usual. You can come in here, pick the weight of that. And in Figma, you can actually slide your cursor on here as well to do things. So I'm going to put a little border on there. There we go. Now we have ourselves a bar with a little bit of a border. Now what I can do is I can click on that. And over here, you'll see you've got rotation, you've got all sorts of things. One of these will be the corners. Let's put corners, a corner radius. There you go. Maybe I'll put that as 20. Right. Oh, look, now I've got rounded corners. Oh, geez. Whoops. Click on it again. I'm going to do 50. There we go. We have a beautiful little streak bar with rounded corners on the end. And that took us no time at all. Now, here's where the fun begins. All right. So just one sec, just checking something over here. Looked like my stream dropped off. I just want to make sure you guys are still seeing this all right. So, yep, we're all good. All right. So now that we've got the little streak bar happening, this is going to be 0. So essentially this is 0 pixels now. So if we come over here on the left, we can name this rectangle. We can just call this 0. Right? So we know this one's 0. And we can come back over here. And we're going to take that. And I'm going to do Control D, which duplicates it. And then I have another one. Now, what I want this one to be is I'm going to call this one, I might call this one 20. Actually, I'll just call that one the number 0. Be heaps easier. All right, come over here. I'm going to call this one 20. Now, this is where it gets really cool. So the inside at the moment is white. So if I click on that, that's white, okay? So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say I want the fill. So stroke is the outline, fill is the inside. So once we do fill, I want to fill. But what I want to do, I want to come to this little button here, and this says gradient. Now, see, if I just do a fill now, say I just do red, it's all red. That's great if we want 100%, but we want all the in-betweens. So I come up to gradient, and it'll give me a choice of 2 colors here, and maybe I want it to be, I want one of them to be white, like it is. Maybe I want the other one to be, maybe we'll make that red. So I'll make that one red, and you'll see already we have this pretty gradient going on here. Looks a bit like a streak bar. We can swap these guys over. Let's swap these little markers over. Yep, see, now it looks like a bar that's going up and down. All right. Now, if you want this to be solid, you can just put these guys right on top of each other. See, and then you have a solid line at that point. Or if you want to, you can go in there to your gradient. You can drag this white one. You can have a nice little fade through. Looks pretty advanced already. Okay. So what you want to do, you want to get your red one. We'll pull the white one up a bit further. We'll get this red one. We'll go down to the stops where it says stops. We're going to type in 20% because we're going to say it's 0, 20, 40, 68. 20%. And then maybe so it's even, we'll put the white one 20% higher. There we go. Have a nice little gradient. So this one, well, I think I just edited 0. I did. I just added 0. It's all right. It's easy. Just going to rename these bad boys because I just added the wrong one. But valuable lesson in there, guys. It's pretty easy to do the wrong one. If you click on it, I'll just call that one 20. And I call this one 0. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as long as you know which is which. All right. And now, here's where the easy bit comes in. We've got this one, which is our 20%. I'm going to duplicate that with Control D. I'm going to duplicate that again with Control D, and Figma starts to work out that you want them in order. Duplicate that with Control D. Now I go into this one, I go to the linear gradient, I make the white, do the white first, otherwise you'll find they try and flip around. I'll make the white 60% now, and I'll make the red 40%. I go in this next one. Oh, and I want to go to the gradient, and I'm going to make the red 80%, and I want to make, I want to make the white 80%, and I want to make the red 60%. And then for this last one, go down here, click on here, we'll put the white at 100. And now the red is also going to be 100. You could do like a 99 one if you wanted one that was kind of just close to the end, but we're just going to do the both at 100. Oh, I've done something wrong here, haven't I? That's 60, 80. Oh, this should be, oh, my bad. That is our 100 one, but what we actually want is we want an 80, we want an 80, 100. Then we're going to duplicate it one more time. Yeah, where'd my duplicated one go? Duplicate it one more time. And that'll be our 100. So I'll go in here and I'll make them both 100. There we go. Now you can play around with that as much as you want, but essentially we've got this nice list of bars now running down here. I'm gonna go over and name all these properly now. So that would be, I'll zoom out so you can just see what I'm doing. I'm just going over the sidebar here. And so if I click on the first one, that's 0. Click on the second one, that says 20. Click on the next one. You do Control R to rename. That will be 40. I wrote Froaty. Click on the next one. Control R. 60. Click on the next one. Control R. 80. Click on the next one. Control R. That was Control T. I have a whole new tab. Control R. 100. All right. Beautiful. Now, it's possible to export all these. You can highlight these all at the same time and export them, and you would get a zip file of all of these. Just for simplicity, I'm just going to show you how to export them. You just click on one. If you go down here to export, it'll offer you a bunch of options. You can do PNG. Let's, I don't know, just you can do SVG. We can do JPEG. Now you have one times in here, for instance. You can actually export this in different sizes, and Figma's actually really good at exporting different sizes. And it'll say, what do you want to call it? Well, we've already named them, so we'll export it as 0. All right, it's probably good you can't see this, so I can just tuck them away somewhere. I'm just gonna make a folder called Street. So essentially what I'm doing, I'm clicking on here, I've gone in here, and I've created a folder called Streak in my downloads folder, and I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to export each of these one at a time. So I do that one, I hit save, I go down to 20, I do export, I'm going to change it to JPEG, I'm going to do export 20, I'm going to hit save, go this one, export 40. Ooh, we want that to be a JPEG, don't we? It always defaults to PNG because people using Figma often want like a transparent background, which you can't do with a JPEG. You won't get transparent backgrounds, just so you know. Save. It's actually made me wonder whether it's going to show the white in the background here, but I think it'll be okay. Export, PNG, JPEG, export 60. I mean, this is possibly the slowest part of the whole process, really, isn't it, when you think about it? Export, JPEG, export 80. Save. I'm just hitting enter because they're all going in the folder. Export 100. 100. That's what they'd say in the streets, would they? They'd say it's 100. I know, I'm pretty G, guys. Calm down. It's all good. All right, so that's basically everything we need to do in Figma. I'm just going to open one of them up just to make sure that that actually does look like we want it to look. So go in here. Oh, it's opening up in a different window, but that's all right. All right, I'm opening at 60. It's taking a sweet time, but here we go, 60. Ah, it doesn't have the transparent backgrounds because I didn't do PNG. That's okay. My computer's having a bit of a moment. So what I've done there, I've highlighted all of them. I'm going to do export 7 layers. I'm going to say that I want to export all them. Say save. Great. And so what it's done this time, it's actually exported them as a zip folder because I did them all at once. I sent them all as JPEGs again. All right. Sorry, team. I'm just going to manually have to go through and do these as going to have to manually go through and do these as my computer's having a bit of trouble, so we're going to drop Twitch for now. All good. All right. All right. I'm going to re-export these. I'll do this really quickly. But basically, the only difference is I'll be doing these as PNGs this time. So I'll change that to a PNG, export 0, put it in the same place. I mean, this is actually where it kind of gets fun because you get to see all the ways not to do things, which is, you know, part of the exciting lessons that we're trying to teach here. Export 20, PNG, export 20, and then after this we get into Braze, which is going to be super cool because that's where all the fun begins. Next one, export 40. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily where all the fun begins. The fun's already started, to be honest, but. PNG, export 40. Hope everyone's having a good night tonight. Good morning, wherever you are. Hope you're getting some value out of this anyway. So what's cool about doing these streak bars though is like once you've done one and you know how to do this, because you can do anything with this. You can do anything with this gradient, this color. By the way, you can actually. I should have shown. Actually, I'll show you in one sec after I export these. You can actually put in more what are called stops. So you can put in more colors. So you can essentially make this bar a rainbow pretty quickly. And we're going to export 100. All right, 100 done. So if I drop it in this bar and do this linear gradient, so it has these two colors, but I can click here, double click. I can put in a completely different color like green up here. See? And all of a sudden we have this whole gradient going on, and you can do as many colors as you want to make this happen. Now I can just undo that. All right, now we're going to move over to Braze. I'm going to close Figma just so we don't need to waste any more memory on the computer because something's having a moment. And all right, so I'm in the media library now, and this is essentially where you want all these files to go. So because we just need all the images in there. We need all the images in there so we can pull them into our message. So the quickest way is just to dump them all in here at the same time, and that's going to make that a lot easier. All right, back to streaming, back to Twitch. Just had a little bit of a hiccup there. Anybody watching on Twitch, I'm sorry about that. Had a little bit of a Twitch dropout, and we're really trying to get the numbers up over there because we want to get Twitch affiliated. I don't think, yeah, so really need to get that happening. Just getting back into my dashboard so we can see that. Then we're going to get straight back into Braze. All right, so YouTube's telling me it's having a bit of trouble with smooth streaming. So if there's any trouble with that, guys, just hit me up and let me know in the chat because I'd really like to know if anything's going on there. Anyway, okay. So now we're here in Braze, back in the mighty Braze, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up our folder of stuff. We're going to go downloads, a streak, and I'm going to take all of these. I'm just going to drag them all in here at the same time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag all these up to here at the same time, where they should be, into the drag and drop bar. All right, now that we've got those, all right. All right, so back in Braze, got our pictures uploaded here. And the one thing we really need from these is we'll need the asset URLs that are over here. So I might just grab one now. I'm going to grab the 0 one. So you just click that and it just says it copies the asset URL. I'm going to go over into messaging. Guess we could just do this as a campaign. It's only like a single one that we need to be playing with at the moment. I think I should be able to get this to work in there. Maybe my old one that was busted from last week will be in there and we can just work on that. No, I don't have any. All right, so we're going to create a campaign. I would often do this in a canvas. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do an in-app message. You can do this in an email. You can do this anywhere that'll show an image. That's what's great about this. You could actually have this in a content card because it's literally just showing a message. I will do the drag and drop editor because that just makes things easy. So that's a good thing about not doing this with custom code is essentially anywhere that will use an image, this will work now rather than if you're doing this, say, with JavaScript or something in an in-app message, you could make the bar move smoothly, but you wouldn't actually be able to get things to show the way you wanted. All right, so I'm going to come in here. Let's just dump in a row. Oh, yep. Oh, why can't I have a row? My computer's having a moment. There we go. Put a title in there. Title worth noticing. We'll just say our streak bar. There we go. Nice and easy. So we're in there. All right. Now what you want in here next is you want some custom code. That's probably the easiest way to do this. Why will they not let me put this row in? There we go. Just having a bit of trouble with my rows. All right, so if I put an image and I do 0, you can see that's our streak bar, essentially straight in there like that. So that's essentially what this is going to look like. And so it's pulling this in from this image over here, like that. And so what we want it to do though, is we actually want this image to update depending on what's happening. So what we're going to do though, we're going to use custom code. So I'll leave that image there just so you can see what's happening. But we'll do some custom code. I'm a new HTML block. And we'll make this nice and large so you can see what's going on here. You guys. Actually, I'm going to reset that because that's just going to make this messy. I'm going to come in here. We're going to remove what's there. And we're going to start putting in liquid. So we're going to put curly brace, percentage sign, curly brace, because we're opening and closing, because what we're going to do is some if-else logic now. So what's cool about this is if you learn if-else logic, if-else is something that you will use in any programming language. Same with variables, any of those things. You'll use this everywhere. So if-else is, if you don't know any liquid, if-else is a great one to know. Actually, I probably should just make a video on if-else because it's super cool. All right, so if custom, we need a custom attribute. Custom attribute, so start typing custom, and I'll say attribute name. Oh, dude, I should have got that from the personalization. I think I have one in here. Search for an attribute. Oh, I'm doing default. I want my custom attributes. I should have one in here. Enemy health, streak value. There we go. I already have one in here called streak value. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back into my HTML block. This is what I should have done before. Sorry, everyone. And so we're going to put our percentage signs, our curly braces. And we go if custom attribute streak value. Now we want it to do, okay, so a little thing here. We're going to make 0 the fallback. So 0 will actually be the last thing we put in. It'll be like, if this, do this, else if this, do this, else, if none of that works, show 0. So 0 is actually going to be our else. So I'm going to put in, if custom streak value equals, is equal to or greater than, so we want this to be for the 20. So if we want it to be for 20, it needs to be anything between 1 and 20 needs to account for this bar, because we want to show when they hit 20. So anything from 20 to 39 will show this bar. Equal to or greater than 20. And then we want to put and, because we want two things to be true at the same time. If you put or, it could be one or the other. We want and custom event streak value to be equal to or less than, or not equal to be less than 40. So what this is saying is, if the custom attribute streak value is equal to 20 or greater than 20, and the custom attribute streak value is less than 40, we want you to, we're going to put a little line in here, img, this is HTML for an image, and then we say where we want the image to come from, which is src. I don't really know what that stands for. I say it stands for source, the image source. We go in here and we close that off like that. Now this is where we need those media library links. So I'm just going to open a separate tab. No, actually, I'm going to duplicate my tab. That would be way smarter. Duplicate my tab so I can have all my media library links open. That might be a better way to do this. I love working between a couple of tabs. I feel like it's just an easy way to kind of get between things. So I often duplicate tabs and then go into templates, media library, find all our gear. We'll be patient. All right, so we want that to be 20. So the 21's here. We copy the asset URL here, click copy. We go back to our HTML here. And where it's got the SRC, we put in the link there. So basically it's saying if these things are true, add this bit of HTML, which will show that image. And actually we need to add one more style. So this is telling it how to style it. You can, this is what they call CSS. Style equals width, colon. We're going to say, we'll do 100%. So basically that's saying make it as wide as the available space. So therefore, if things move in and out, it will fit. But if it's less than, it'll stretch it out to fit whatever's there. So style equals width, 100%, semicolon, close that. Yep, great. So that should work. Now for this next line, we need our else. So we'll do curly brace, percentage sign, curly brace. We're just going to write else. Actually, we'll add the end if while we're here. So anything you open, you should always close. So if we open an if here, we said if, we should always close it. So we'll do end if. That's really important. Otherwise, nothing will work. It's very common to forget three things to forget: full stops, actually 4, semicolons, commas, and closing things. They're probably the most common reasons that things break. We're going to go back over here and we want our 0. So here's our 0 one here. We're going to copy the asset URL. We come back over here. I'm just going to paste that here for a sec. And I'm going to copy this line because the image lines will all be the same. So we can just copy that one. just zoom in and show you what I'm doing there. So I've literally just copied the image line because that's the same for all of them. That's not going to change. And then we need this image that we took, and we just replace the one that's in here with that one. So what it's saying at this point, if we read through this, if custom attribute streak value is equal to or greater than 20, so if it's 20 or above, and so this also needs to be true, it can't just be 20 and above. If this custom attribute streak value is less than 40, so anywhere up to 39, then show this image, which should be our 20% bar. Else, and this else is saying, if that's not true, show this instead, which should be our 0 bar. Now, essentially, this 20% one should show for 20, it should show for 21, 22, 33, 34, anything up to 39. Now, what was happening last week is what was happening last time is I was putting the and in here, but I was just writing and less than 40. So I had equal to or greater than 20 and less than 40, but you actually need to write custom attribute streak value each time. Every time you add a new reasoning, new true or false in there. Essentially, you want to know everything in coding kind of works in true or false. So if this is true and this is true, do this. But if this is true and this is false, then it won't do this. Fall back to this. Anyway, apply those changes. Okay, now when you look at it, it's going to show you, delete this one so it's just out of the way. It's going to show you both those images, because what it's doing is it's going, here's all the stuff that you're trying to do. The good thing is though, if those images are showing, at least you know your image links are right. But when we preview this, I'm just going to click preview and test. Oh, that's right. I think you need to click get random user. I'm just going to zoom this in because I don't think I have any users in here. That you got to click get random user for it to actually trigger anything. Otherwise, it just doesn't do anything. It needs to have a little thinky think. Oh, okay. So currently nothing's showing because my streak value is 40. So it doesn't know what to do. It's going, hold on. Actually, that should fall back to 0. I'm going to do a custom user now. And I'm going to put in a streak value. I'm going to put in 22. Okay. There must be a reason this isn't working. Let's get debugging. This is what I did last week. I spent most of my time just debugging. Image style width 100%. Source equals this. Else. The images are showing, so that's right. The image shows, so that's okay. Else. Do this. And if. I don't actually know why that's not working yet. If custom attribute streak values go that equal to as your else, show this. So it should always be showing the 0. I'm just going to get rid of this little line of CSS for the moment so that I can take it back to basics just to make sure that... See, it made them fat now because they're too big for the screen. That's what the width 100% does. It actually crams it into the space that's available, so that's okay. We just want to see if this actually shows up now, whether that was the problem. I don't think it would have been the problem. It's just going to be another week where it makes a fool of me. All right, we're going to go back into our code. We're going to put our CSS back in for our styling because that was working. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to copy one of these image lines. I'm going to copy this one like this. Here's a good way to debug. I'm going to put it down here by itself. Then I'm going to highlight all this. If you do Control \, it'll actually do what's called commenting out. So you see, let's put these angled brackets, exclamation mark, and these hyphens at the start and at the end. And that comments all this out. That means this bit of code won't run now. So only this bit below should run at this point. So it should still show the image. Okay, so if I do that and go back here, so we can see the image, and then when I preview and test it, we should actually see that image because there's literally nothing else happening at that point. That's concerning. If you want to uncomment that, just highlight it, go and control / and you can uncomment all that and it should be working. What? It's just going to baffle me. This. Oh, dearie. Because it should always fall back to this because we have an else. We have an end if. We have a blank line we'll get rid of. We've closed off all our percentages. Closed off that one. We've closed off our image lines. We've styled them. We put the source, put the code in there. We hit apply. Oh, actually, is there something showing down the bottom there that I can't see? In the red? What's that red box down the bottom? Oh, accessibility scan. Okay, that's okay. I mean, always look after accessibility where you can. It's important. Actually, the title, our streak bar isn't even showing. That's suspicious, hey? So if I do preview and test. Okay, now I'm just starting to think this might actually just be broken because we're not getting anything. Photo random music. Like, where's the title? Alright, I'm going to stick a title at the bottom. I'm going to put in another row at the bottom. I'm going to stick another title at the bottom. This is me now testing because I'm suspicious that this just isn't working. There's just nothing there. Like, seriously, what are the odds? Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna take that bit of code that we wrote because that'll still work in an email because emails basically built on HTML and Liquid. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna say I'm done because I'm done. Trust me. I'm gonna get out of here. I mean, the irony being that I don't tend to use campaigns very much. I tend to use canvases. So the fact that it didn't ever work, like, it brings me no joy to the campaign situation. I know some people are gonna jump on here and be like, "But why do you not use the campaigns?" You know what? I just prefer working in the canvas. I think it's a lot more fun and you can do some cool stuff in there. All right. If you've jumped online, by the way, be sure to say hello in the chat. And if you're on Twitch, be sure to give us a follow. Really need to get the old numbers up there. All right. So. All right, try this again. All right. So now we're in here. I'm doing an email. Emails will work for sure. Like, let's just test this straight away. I'm a new title block. You bet you are. All right, we can see that. Great. Whew. All right, one step closer, hey? One step closer. All right, so we're going to stick in a HTML block like we had before. Just stick it in here. We're going to go over to the editor. I'm going to expand that. I'm going to zoom in. Just so you can see, I haven't changed anything. Put that in there, and you can see it already appears in the background there, so that's pretty snazzy. So theoretically, this should be working now. Everything else is the same. We've got custom attributes, we've got styles, we've got widths, got everything else is all good in there, so that should be working. Yeah. All right. Now, if we preview this, there's a liquid error. Oh, is that what's going on? Unknown operator. Ah, is this why the other one's not working? What's the unknown operator? Equal to or less or greater, equal to or... I'm pretty sure that's meant to be greater than or equal to 20, but we'll see. We'll see how we go there. At least this is giving me liquid errors, which is way more helpful. Makes me... Oh, dude. All right. So, see that's weak. You know what? Here we go. We go back. We're going to go back now to our original one. Don't save. We know that's weak. So basically, I mean, something we have learnt here today is that if you want to be debugging, liquid and stuff in Braze, it seems like maybe doing that in email will give you a better response. I don't know if I missed something in here that was telling me that that was working, but you know, loading is taking longer than expected. Yeah, that's okay. We're cool. We got time. All right. No, I don't need a template. It's going to fly solo again. I'm going to chuck our title back in. This editor is just nowhere near as smooth as the email one, I must admit. Look at this. It just doesn't even know where to put things. Really? All right. How sick as streak bar. For anyone who's just like tuning into this, we just had a bit of trouble with the code in here. There we go. We're going to put that back in there. HTML block. We're going to expand that out. We're going to paste our code back in. Now, the problem was up here, I had equal to or greater than 20. It needs to be greater than or equal to 20, which is really interesting because when you write equal to or greater than, for some reason I do know that's the wrong way around, but I still wrote it anyway. When you write it like that, that's actually a symbol you use in JavaScript to represent a function. So it's probably good that we can't use that because it could be misinterpreted. Now, if I play these changes, we should see our blocks back again. Yep. And then if I go into preview and test now, finally, we've got something. Yeah. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, I don't want to do that random user thing again. I'm going to go over to custom user. All right. So I'm in custom user now. And down the bottom here, you can test the custom attribute. So if I put 0 and we do that, we should just get the 0 streak bar. And even if I do 19, because we said it needs to be equal to or less than 20, we should get the 0 streak bar. Now, if I do 20, we should get, look at that. And then if I do 39, it should still be that one. But because we don't have a 40, 40 should fall back to the 0. So if I do 40, back to that one. Great. And now that we've debugged all that, this is where the easy part starts, guys. Because we just go back up here, we go to build, we go back into our HTML, we enlarge that code area because, you know, enlarging code areas is just, it's a vibe. And now, so we've got our else. We're just going to make a bit of space there. We're going to do curly bracket, percentage sign, curly bracket, and we're going to write else if. Not else as in ELSE, it's else if. Else if. Now I've got myself, is JavaScript else if? No, this one's else. Else if. Jeez, we're going to find out. I've completely forgotten which one it is. I could look it up, but we'll just test it. We take our HTML line again, chuck that in there. And yep, actually we need both those lines. We need all of this. Okay, we're going to check the HTML one in first. We'll check it below. But we need these custom attribute lines up here as well. We're going to copy them. But they go in this else if line. So now we're saying, if this first line isn't true, I want you to try and look for this. So else if greater than or equal to 40 and less than 60. Show this image. And then we might as well put them all in here and we can update the images in a minute. But that one and that one, I'll put a line between them just so it's a bit clearer for you guys to see. Else if greater than or equal to 60 and less than 80, greater than or equal to 80, less than 100. We're going to need one more here. Else if it equals Now we need 2 equals. So there's 2 operators there, equals 100. And we don't need another statement there. Do this. And now we're going to go over the media library. And we're going to grab our 20. I've got our 20. We're going to grab our 40. We'll zoom back out. In the media library, we're going to grab our 40. We'll copy that link. Come back here. This will be our 40. Greater than or equal to 40. And we paste that line in here. Now we go over and we're going to grab our 60. Copy the URL. Greater than or equal to 60. We're going to paste that one in here. We're going to go greater than or equal to 80. We're going to paste that one in here. And then we need our 100. 100. We're going to paste that one in here. Okay, and just to explain what's going on here for you guys, for anyone who's not like super across HTML or if-else statements, or once you know if-else statements, my gosh, you can do all sorts of crazy things. You can nest them within each other. Like you'd have if this, do if this, if this. I should do a video on if-else. Said it a couple of times now. I think we're going to do that. We need to do an if-else video. Here. We're showing you my jotter of things. If-else nesting. We'll try and come up with something ridiculous to nest. Oh, by the way, I was building a text adventure on the live stream here, so I've just kind of stopped that to do the streak, but we'll get back to the text adventure another night for sure, because I'll be off here in about 10-15 minutes. All right, so this is saying, if custom attribute streak value is greater than or equal to 20 and less than 40, if both those things are true and true, show this image, which should be the 20 image. Else if, so if that's not true, so if that's false or that's false, else if the streak value is greater than or equal to 40, and, so if that's true and less than 60, if that's true, show this image. But if one of these isn't true, go to here. Else if this is true, greater than 60, true, show this. If one of them is false, go here. If they're both false, go here, because maybe it's 100. Else if it equals 100, show this. If none of this is true, like none of it, because these both statements have to be true because we're using ands and not ors, just show the 0 one. And it's always good to have an else. It's like a fallback. So even if everything breaks or some of this doesn't work, at least it'll show something. So an else is always good to put in there as a fallback if you can. All right, now this is where the exciting bit happens. So you'll see they're all in here. They're all there. All the bars are there. It looks like it's all working. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. We go to preview and test. Get our... I'll say I already had 40 in there, so it's showing the 40 bar. So if I put in, I'll just try hard numbers. I'll put in 0, put in 20, I'll put in 40, I'll put in 60, I'll put in 80, I don't know, you guys were a bit nervous there for a second, and I'll put in 100. Look at that. Is that not like the easiest streak bar ever? So look, I know we had some hiccups in there, but like essentially though, once you have that code, you could like cut and paste that slab of code out now, use it somewhere else. You just update all the images and the text around it, and that would keep working. Now, I had that set. So let's say the number is, 45, we'd be expecting that to, well, I just put in 4, so we'll get the 0 bar. If it's 45, it's greater than 40 and less than 60, we should just see the 40 bar. So we're not doing this in gradients. So I put in 45. Actually, I put in 445. So it's going to show the else, which is the 0, which makes sense. All right. So, what was I going to say? Just had a brain fart. Did you see me just blank out there for a second? What's cool here is you could do lots of cool things with this. I'm using a custom attribute variable here. So essentially, if someone was like doing stuff on the side or whatever and their custom attributes changing, this is changing. But they won't see this necessarily moving. Now, if you didn't really know how to code much, you could essentially replicate this as many times as you want. You could do it in degrees of 10 or 5 and you just have a whole string of images going down. If you're at that point, there's probably more, clever, neater ways to do it, but it'll totally work. Don't don't feel bad having to hack your way through something because you're the only person that's doing the work. You know, well, I'm not saying no one else is doing the work. I just say you're the only person in your team. So if this is the way you get by, totally get by doing this. And think of really fun ways you could use this too, where it might be going down, for instance. Now, one thing I did notice though, is that in here, if I was over 100, it was showing 0 because it's saying if it's equal to. So I'm actually going to change this one. I'm going to change this to greater than or equal to 100, because let's say that was let's say it was like for a loyalty coupon. If someone's at 120, like they've gone over the top limit, you don't want it to show 0 to that person. So I put greater than or equal to 100. So it will only show 0 now when it needs to. So if I go back here and down here, if I put in now, like, 234, it should show 100. Because I've gone over that 100 mark. So that's kind of a good buffer, I guess, if you're doing a loyalty bar for people who maybe, it doesn't stop at 100%. Maybe they can accrue 154 points, for instance. It'll show that the bar's full. But if I put 0, it should work. I reckon this will show 0 if I put a negative number. I'm going to put 40 and just add some color in the box. So if I put 45, I don't think it'll know what to do with that. Oh, what have I put? I've put 040 minus 45. Great. That's not even a number. Minus 45. Yeah, it's going to show 0 because essentially it's anything but what's in that range. So it doesn't even include things over 100 when you're doing a negative number. So it's just going to show you 0. I mean, if you wanted it to go backwards, great. Put negative numbers in there. So you can put whatever you want in here. The other thing you can do as well is, like, the attribute doesn't have to be, this attribute doesn't have to be guided by like a number range. Like, it doesn't have to be greater than or equal to 20 or minus 40. Like, it might be if custom attribute streak value equals beginner, but equals beginner, show this image. If it equals intermediate, show this image. If it shows expert, show this image. Like, it doesn't have to be governed by number. It could actually be governed by word or any way you want to use that custom attribute, because all it's doing is showing a different image each time. So yeah, that's the quickest way to make a streak bar in Braze, as far as I know. And the good thing about doing it with a little bit of HTML over here is you can adjust the shape and put things like those 100% in if you need to, but there's probably other ways to get around that if you really wanted to. Now, the other thing I was going to show you, because I said you could do this in Figma, but I also said you can do this any way you want. So say you may have another tool. Oh, come on, get over here. So what we did in Figma is we basically just had a bar here that we slowly filled up. What you can do if you're, say, in Paint, for example, say Paint's all you got, because I did say you could do it in Paint, so I've got to put my money where my mouth is. Oh, okay. I want the fat pencil. Go up here, make it a bit thicker. There we go. So you draw like a box, right? Like, there's my nice round box. Now, the only thing you have to do is make sure that you portion it off. So if I portion off like here, 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 and here, I mean, at this point, I basically, there's a little gap there. You gotta make sure the gaps are closed. You get the fill bucket, and I get red, right? You just go in here. Oh, red and fill. Oh, I picked the eraser. You go in here and you go, boom, there you go. And you export that. That's your 20%. Now, I'm not sure Paint does transparent backgrounds. Oh, excuse me. So you might be doing this as a rectangle wherever you're doing it, but you go on, then you export your 40, export your 60, export your 80, export your 100, I guess your 120. And essentially, yeah, that's really, look, honestly, sorry guys. I mean, this has to be done since we're here. Look, it'd be silly not to do this. We'll do this, and then we'll give Bro needs an eye, doesn't he? He needs a little smile. Why is that? Because he's a Braze user. Makes total sense. It's the Braze worm. Like, it's official. Yeah, okay, cool. I think that's time to tap out. Anyway, so that is what I think is probably the most straightforward way to make a streak bar in Braze. You're learning a little bit of if-else liquid, which is good. you're learning just a little bit of HTML about how to show images. So if you didn't know HTML, that's actually a really good use case for it. And you're also learning how to dynamically change images, which you can use for so many things. You don't even need to do that for streak bars. Maybe you want to update the image that's in that place for someone's custom attribute and you want to show them a different piece of art. I don't know why I picked art, but you know what I mean. Maybe they're a fan of apples, so you want to show them a photo of an apple, but they're a fan of a banana, so you show them a photo of banana. The logic and the way this is set out is exactly the same. You just replace the images with whatever you want. So there's really cool things you can do with this. I did something similar with this, it was almost like a coupon counter, but basically what it did is it just randomly picked a number, and based on that number, it would show like 9172 as images. It would just put the images in the boxes there. So there's so many different ways to do this. So anyway, that's that. Next week, we'll get back on to doing text adventure again. I reckon we'll get back to the text adventure game. In the meantime, I'm going to sit here with my list of, you know, if else nesting. So I did write up there. I said I would write it down, that I should make a video. But I'm really going to think about this run to send email. I'm really, yeah, in the middle here, catch me. This is the science of marketing. I've also put HTML for marketers. When did play stop? Braze on a switch? These are just ideas that are dropping out of my head as I go. I put making a streak bar. Hold on. Done. Braze watch app. Braze security. I don't even know what that means. Braze accessible hardware. That is another idea I have about using hardware to control Braze so you don't have to do it with your keyboard and mouse. That'd be a bit of fun. I've done something similar like that with Clipchamp with video editing before, but doing it with Braze I think will be a lot more of a challenge. But that would be a fun experiment. And for marketing, yeah, I don't even know what that one says. Anyway, yeah, so that's how to make a streak bar. I hope you get something out of that. I'll try and put this together too as a video, so it'll be up there permanently. You'll be able to watch this live one back anytime, so you can go through this full tutorial anytime. You can watch me debug and break the stuff I've done, but I reckon I'll also chop this together as a video and put it up as a how to make a streak bar video, which would be actually really cool because I reckon a lot of people get a lot of value out of this. I think the trolls have rocked up over on Twitch. Was a bit of a shame. Yeah, we're just gonna get rid of that. Make sure that goes away. We don't want that on the All right, great. All right. Hopefully that'll just disappear now. All right. Banned. All right, so yeah, make sure you drop back next week. We'll get back into our text adventure. I think we got up to doing the action paths and putting all the steps in there, but we hadn't gotten to we're about to try and do some sort of health bar. This might actually come in handy for that. This might actually be our health bar in action. And then I really wanted to make a fight engine of some sort, like using random number generators to actually do some sort of turn-based fighting, but have like a delay in between. I reckon I'm going to build a loop in there in a canvas to try and make that happen. So that's going to be a super fun experiment to get going. So I'll get back onto that next week. And in the meantime, thank you for dropping by. Hope you got some value out of this. Be sure to hit like on this and subscribe to the channel because it really helps spread this message around. If you also have Twitch, please go give us a follow on Twitch as well because we really want to get that up. We want to get Minimum Viable Pizza and the Braze community. We want to get this affiliated over there as well, which would be exciting. And we'll see you next week for a bit of marketing hoo-ha, bit of Braze tutorial, bit more of whatever you're liking. In the meantime, have a great week. It's been fabulous, as always. I've enjoyed this very much.